Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and on this day I will be taking up the structure and the functional roles of the inner ear. And I know it's a pretty complex part. It took me really long to learn this inner ear, but I hope I can make it easier for you. Now, inner ear is the main part of the ear that helps to control the two main functions of ear, that is hearing and balance. Now, the inner ear, you can say, is made up of two kinds of parts. Number one is the bony labyrinth, which is on the outer side of the inner ear, and the second one is the membranous labyrinth, which is on the inner side of the inner ear. So, for it to make a bit more sense to you, the blue part here, this area is the bony labyrinth, and the blackened part which I've done here is the membranous labyrinth. So now, since we're done with that, let's talk about the actual components of the inner ear. To break it down to you, this is the cochlea, which is the main part of the inner ear which is responsible for hearing. These three circular things you can see here, semicircular in fact, are known as the semicircular canals, which are responsible to detect angular acceleration. Or, for example, when you tilt your head above, down, left, or right, that's what these canals detect. And finally, this part, known as the vestibule or the vestibular system, is responsible to control or detect linear acceleration, and I will be expanding upon these 3 points further. Let us now start with semicircular canals. Now, these semicircular canals, let me show you how they're aligned. So if this is one semicircular canal, which is towards the y-axis, the other two semicircular canals are aligned towards the x and z axis respectively. So these are on 3 spatial planes, and they are made up of an outer bony labyrinth and inner membranous labyrinth. Now, this bony labyrinth is filled with a fluid known as perilymph, and the membranous labyrinth is filled with a fluid known as endolymph. So all that you see here, this black spaces, is basically a fluid filled duct containing endolymph. So how they function is, suppose you tilt your head towards the right side. So the semicircular canal, which is responsible to detect the motion of your head towards the right side, the endolymph or the fluid in it moves. Okay? So when this fluid moves, there is a motion caused at the ends of these canals. Suppose this is the canal responsible to detect the movement of your head towards the right side. Okay? So the end of these semicircular canals are kind of swollen, are known as ampulla. Okay? And this ampulla contains a sensory epithelium known as crista. This crista further contains hair cells. Now, hair cells get their name from, these are basically sensory cells, or they sense motion, and they have stereocilia on them. Stereocilia are kind of non-cellular appendages which are present on particular cells which move when they don't let the cell move in itself, but these stereocilia move on themselves. So what happens is, there is a motion in the endolymph when we tilt our head towards the right. So this endolymph, the motion carries on and moves to this ampulla area. And then that endolymph further causes the motion of these sensory stereocilia. So since they're sensory, they sense the motion, and that hence tells our head that our head is moving towards the right, or tells our brain basically. So that is the basic sensory function of semicircular canals. Now, our vestibular system, or this area, it has 2 basic parts: the utricle, which is here, and the saccule, which is here. These 2 parts are responsible to find out the motion of our head or our body and maintain the balance of our head and body by the forces of gravity or by linear acceleration. So there isn't much to expand upon this. All you need to know that the sensory part for utricle and saccule is macula, which senses the movements and hence sends signals to the brain. So that is about the vestibular system. It also has certain cells known as otoconia, which help in detecting motion further. Now that we're done with the balance part, let's move on to the hearing part. Now the hearing part, I will be only explaining to you the structure of this area, but the mechanism of hearing, I will be doing a detailed video in the next session. So you know the main organ for hearing is the cochlea, right? So when we take the cochlea, this is the cochlea, I take a cross section of this and this is how it looks. Basically cochlea is turned into itself about 2.5 to 2.75 times, as you can see here. So this is the cross section of cochlea. It's spiral in shape, okay? It almost looks like a snail ka back. Anyways, cochlea too is made up of bony and membranous labyrinth. Since you know bony labyrinth is on the outside and the membranous labyrinth is on the inside, these two areas, or I've divided this thing into three areas, right? So these two are the bony labyrinth and this middle one, or scala media, is the membranous labyrinth. Now, the upper one is known as scala vestibuli. It contains perilymph because it is the bony labyrinth. Now, the lower one is known as scala tympani. It also contains perilymph because it is the bony labyrinth, but scala media contains endolymph because it is the membranous labyrinth. Now, the main organ of hearing is the organ of Corti, which is present on the basilar membrane. Basilar membrane is the membrane that separates scala media from scala tympani. So on that membrane, you have organ of Corti, which is the main organ responsible to detect hearing. We will learn about the mechanism later. But coming to the other membrane, the membrane that separates scala vestibuli and scala media is known as the Resoner's membrane. And this is the basic anatomy of the cross section of cochlea. And there is one more region you need to know about, that is known as helicoderma. So helicoderma is the region that connects scala vestibuli to scala tympani. Since you see that scala media is separating them, so there is a small opening that connects scala vestibuli and scala tympani, known as helicoderma. This was all about the ear and its structure, the inner ear basically. So the next class I'll be taking about mechanism of hearing. So thank you so much for watching.